Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Tranda with Citizenship Academy. We're on Domain 8, Native Americans, Lesson 7, Native American Myths. Our objectives for today are to compare myths and explain how Native American stories reflect their values and plan our persuasive essay with a draft of our introduction. Some key vocabulary is meek, quiet, and gentle. Recede is to move back from or withdraw, and vibration is a continuous, fast shaking movement. We're going to go ahead and do a read aloud for today. Myths of the Pacific Northwest. Raven steals the light. Raven is a very important character in the mythology of most Pacific Northwest tribes. He is featured in numerous stories, many of which are creation myths. Creation myths explain how the world began and how people and various animals came into the world. However, in this tale, Raven is not really a creator. He's actually a trickster, meaning that he makes things happen by tricking other characters. The following story explains how light was hidden and then restored. Many years ago, in a house on the banks of the Yakima River, there lived an old man and his grown daughter. You would not have known by looking at this little house, his little house, but the old man was very rich. However, he was also very greedy. Every year, many salmon swam past his house. He always caught many more than he needed, and he chased anyone away anyone else who tried to catch them. "Go away," he yelled. "Those are my fish." "These are not your fish," the people told him. "The river gave them to us." But the old man ignored them. "You'll be sorry if you take my fish again," he warned. When he saw a woman gathering firewood in the forest near his house, the old man yelled, "That is my firewood. Go away and find your own." The woman held up the sticks and said, "You do not own this wood. The tree gave it to me." The old man only shook his fist and warned, "You'll be sorry if you take my firewood again." The old man was so greedy that he would not even share with his own daughter. He would not let her take fish from the river. She was allowed to gather roots and berries to eat, but only if she walked far away from the house, so she would not gather any of his food. When he caught her eating blackberries from a bush near the house, he yelled, "Those are my berries. You'll be sorry you took them, but the bush gave them to me," his daughter said in a meek, nervous voice. This made the old man very angry. He was tired of people stealing from him, but he knew how to stop them once and for all. People could not steal his things if they could not see them. However, he was so rich he could not hide all the things he owned, so he decided to hide the light instead. The old man took the sun and moon and all the stars from the sky, and he put them in a box. He hid the box in his house and refused to tell anyone where it was. Then the whole world was dark. When people needed firewood, they had to crawl out into the darkness and search the ground with their hands until they found something that felt like wood. When they were hungry, they had to crawl into the river and feel around in the water until a fish swam in their hands. Life without light was very hard, and soon the people were cold and hungry, and sadness filled their hearts. But Raven heard about the greedy old man who stole the sun and moon and stars, and he came up with a plan to steal them back. Raven followed the old man's daughter when she went out searching for food. She searched in the darkness and found a blackberry bush. The thorns pricked her fingers as she searched for berries. Clever Raven turned himself into a blackberry, and she picked him and ate him. Then Raven was in her belly, and he became her child. Months later, Raven was born. The old man did not like having a baby in the house. To make matters worse, Raven grew very quickly, and soon he was a curious, energetic boy. He asked questions about everything, and he always wanted the old man to tell him stories, sing songs, and play games. The old man did not like to do any of these things, but Raven asked him to every day anyway. "Grandfather, I'm bored," Raven said. "Will you play a game with me?" "No." "Will you tell me a story?" "No." "Then what can I do? I'm bored." The old man fumbled around in the dark, trying to find something for Raven to play with. Raven refused everything he offered. "I already played with that. That's boring," Raven said. "If I only could see, then maybe I could find something to do, but it's too dark." Then the old man had an idea. He went to his secret hiding place and pulled out the box. He gave the box to Raven and said, "Here, play with this. This will keep you busy for a while. Just don't show anyone else. Now leave me alone." Raven opened the box, and the light of the sun and moon shone on his face. Then the old man could see that he had been tricked. Grasping the box in his talons, Raven flapped his wings and flew out of the house. He flew and flew way up high into the sky, and there he emptied the box, and the sun and the moon and the stars all returned to their places, and the light was restored. Thunderbird and killer whale. Thunderbird is a mythical creature common in the most Pacific Northwest cultures. It is also a common theme on a totem pole or ceremonial costumes. In most stories, Thunderbird was a kind and powerful creature who often helped people The story of a thunderbird and killer whale appears in many tribal mythologies. Like many myths, this one was used to explain certain aspects of nature or important events. There are two natural events or phenomena explained in the story. Can you tell what they are? One day, Killer Whale arrived in the waters and attacked all the other fish. Killer Whale was hungry and he ate many fish. The fish he did not eat were so scared they swam away to other waters. Then the people could not find any fish for themselves and they began to starve. Thunderbird was a big, mighty bird. His bright, colorful feathers were as long as canoe paddles and his talons were like harpoons. When he flapped his great wings, the sound of thunder rumbled through the skies. One day, Thunderbird was flying across the coast. He looked down and saw that people were starving. This made Thunderbird sad because he loved the people and did not want to see them suffer. He asked them why they did not have any fish, and the people told them about Killer Whale. This made Thunderbird very angry. Thunderbird found Killer Whale and swooped down out of the sky. Thunderbird grabbed Killer Whale with his talons and tried to carry him away, but Killer Whale put up a fight. He wrestled free from the Thunderbird's grasp and fell down into the ocean with a great splash. The splash was so big that it shook all the waters and even the land. The waters rose up and covered the land. Trees were ripped from soil and houses were shattered, and many people died before the waters receded. Thunderbird and Killer Whale fought for many days. At last, Killer Whale knew he could not win, and he swam away. Gradually, the fish returned and the people had food again. Ever since, the people have never forgotten how Thunderbird helped them. According to the story, Thunderbird's wings cause the sound of the thunder. This is common in most Thunderbird myths. But the story seems to explain something else. Many researchers believe this story is about a tsunami or tidal wave that struck the Pacific Northwest hundreds of years ago. Tsunamis are caused by earthquakes in the Earth's crust, deep beneath the ocean's surface. The vibrations of the earthquake create waves, and if the earthquake is strong enough, these waves can form a tsunami. Tsunamis are very destructive when they strike land. It is no surprise that the survivors would mark the event with a myth like this. Our word work for today is meek. But the bush gave them to me, his daughter said in a meek, nervous voice. Meek means quiet or gentle and is an adjective. So in the previous lesson, you chose an image to serve as your foundation for your argument. And this is kind of what mine was. As a reminder, this was my example. So, the underlined sentence is my argument. I think this image best shows the relationship between Native Americans and the land because it shows how important the Great Plains habitat was in shaping the tribe's way of life. That is my argument. So now you're going to begin by stating your argument. So you're going to tell exactly this picture of blank best shows the relationship between Native Americans and the land by, and you're going to explain it. That is your argument. You're going to recreate this chart on a separate piece of paper and provide 3 pieces of evidence that support this. This should be pretty easy because you've already gotten a head start on figuring out the different pieces of your persuasive essay and evidence. You've already had a chance to go back in the text and find evidence. So, example, nature and its resources were very important to the Great Plains tribes. Native Americans who lived in the Great Plains were dependent on things from nature to survive and thrive. I think this image best shows the relationship between Native Americans and the land because it shows how important the Great Plains habitat was in shaping the tribe's way of life. The introductory paragraph introduces the argument, and it should also include a lead or hook to draw the reader in. And you're now going to go ahead and draft your introduction and keep it ready for future lessons. Now, this is the mid-unit content assessment, so you're going to complete this on the Google form and send it to your teacher when you're all set. And that's the end of today's lesson. We'll see everyone next time.